God says this moment has been prepared for you long before you even knew it existed, and the reason you are seeing this right now is not an accident, not a coincidence, and not something you should ignore. God says there are moments in your life when heaven becomes closer than ever, when the veil between your world and the divine thins just enough so a message can slip through directly into your heart. And right now, a soul you love deeply, someone who has crossed into the light, someone who carries your name in every prayer they whisper in heaven, is standing in front of God asking Him to deliver this message to you urgently. God says they have waited for this opening, this window, this exact second, because your spirit is more awake than usual, more receptive, more ready, and heaven doesn't want you to miss this. God says 3 minutes is symbolic, not something to fear. It simply means the moment is active now, alive now, opening now, and the message is flowing now. You are safe. You are protected. Nothing wrong is happening around you. This urgency is not danger, it is divine timing, divine alignment, divine intervention unfolding for you in this breath. God says the person you love in heaven is looking at you with so much tenderness right now, more love than you can imagine, more compassion than any human on earth could ever show. They have watched you carry pain you didn't tell anyone about. Tears you wiped alone, questions that gnawed at your soul late at night when no one else was awake. They have seen the moments when you wanted just one sign, one whisper, one confirmation that you were not alone, and they have begged God for permission to give you that sign. God says, today they are allowed. Today heaven opens. Today the message reaches you. And they want you to know that every step you have taken, even the steps you thought were mistakes, even the choices you regret, even the heartbreaks that broke you open, have been guiding you toward a moment of divine restoration that is closer than you think. God says the path you're on may look uncertain to you, but in heaven it is shining. Clear, guided, and protected, the person you love in heaven wants you to know they never left you. Their absence in your world does not mean absence in your life. They stand beside you more now than when they were alive because their spirit is no longer limited by distance, time, or physical constraints. They walk with you into rooms. They sit beside you when you feel overwhelmed. They protect you when you sleep. They whisper encouragement when you doubt yourself. And right now, they are pleading with you to not rush past this moment, to not scroll away, to not treat this as something ordinary. They say there is something God has written for you that you must receive while your spirit is open. While your heart is listening, while your inner world is ready for healing and transformation. They say the heaviness that has been following you is not your destiny. The confusion you have been feeling is not punishment. The delay you've experienced is not rejection. God says you are being prepared, stretched, refined, strengthened for blessings that outweigh every pain you've endured. God says the loved one who is sending this message is standing in front of him right now with eyes full of hope for you. They are speaking your name in heaven, and when your name is spoken there, light surrounds it. God says they have seen the battles you faced silently, the disappointments you didn't share. The heartbreak that left you feeling like something inside you went missing. They want you to know they saw every moment when you felt like giving up but kept going anyway. They want you to know they were with you during the nights you cried quietly so nobody else would hear. They want you to know that those tears were counted, not wasted. God says every tear you shed watered a blessing that is now ripe for release in your life. God says you have been too hard on yourself. You carry guilt that does not belong to you. You blame yourself for situations that were never your fault. You replay moments over and over, asking what you could have done differently, but heaven says stop punishing yourself for things your soul could not have changed. God says what you think was a failure was actually protection. What you think was abandonment was divine redirection. What you think was loss was actually the beginning of a breakthrough that has been slowly forming behind the scenes. Heaven has been aligning people, opportunities, and miracles quietly in the background, waiting for you to reach the moment where your heart is ready to receive without fear. God says the urgency you feel in this message is not warning but awakening. You are being awakened to the truth of your spiritual identity, the truth of your resilience, the truth of your purpose. You are more powerful than you realize, and the person you love in heaven wants you to reclaim that power. They say you have forgotten parts of yourself because life has been heavy, but God is restoring those parts piece by piece. They say you have been carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours, burdens others placed on you, expectations that suffocated you, responsibilities that drained you. God says you are entering a season where those burdens will fall off one by one as He lifts you into a space of clarity, emotional peace, and provision. God says you have been praying for answers, but the answers didn't come because the timing wasn't aligned. Today the timing is shifting. Today your spirit is aligned with heaven's intention. Today something inside you is being unlocked, healed, awakened. God says the things that felt stuck will begin to flow. The prayers that felt unheard will begin to manifest. The confusion that clouded your mind will begin to clear. Your loved one in heaven says they are interceding for you. They are asking God to open doors for you that have been locked for too long. They are asking God to send the right people into your life, people who will not betray you, people who will not use you, people who will not take advantage of your kindness. God says He heard their prayer, and the answer has already been set in motion. God says the next chapter of your life is not going to repeat the pain of your past. You have outgrown environments that no longer align with your soul. You have survived storms others would have collapsed under. You have endured tests that were designed not to break you but to reveal who you truly are. The person you love in heaven says they are proud of you. They say you don't give yourself enough credit. They say you underestimate your strength. They say you think too little of your worth, but in heaven your worth shines like gold. They want you to know you make them proud every single day just by choosing to keep going. They want you to know they brag about you in heaven the way parents brag about their children. They want you to know that God Himself smiles when He sees your courage. God says He is bringing protection into your life. He is placing angels around your home, around your mind, around your future. He is blocking every plan that was meant to harm you. He is dissolving negative energy that has been surrounding you. He is removing the weight of fear from your heart. He is replacing anxiety with peace, uncertainty with clarity, sorrow with strength. God says the next few weeks will reveal why certain things didn't work out the way you wanted. You will understand why specific doors closed. You will understand why certain people left. You will understand why delays happened. Because every no, every not now, every detour, was preparing the exact blessing that is about to enter your life. God says the person you love in heaven is holding something in their hands right now. Something symbolic, something meant for you. It is a gift of reassurance. It is a sign that your connection with them did not end with their physical departure. They want you to know they feel your love, your prayers, your memories. They want you to know you honor them every time you make a kind choice, every time you forgive someone, every time you choose compassion over anger. They want you to know they send you signs even when you don't recognize them, a sudden feeling of warmth, a dream that feels too real, a memory that flashes in your mind unexpectedly, a song that plays at the perfect moment. They say these signs are not random. They say these signs are them reaching out. God says you will not walk into the future alone. You will not walk into your blessings unprotected. You will not walk into your new season confused or vulnerable. Heaven is surrounding you, guiding you, preparing the way for you. Your loved one in heaven says you are entering a turning point. They want you to release the fear that keeps whispering worst-case scenarios in your mind. They want you to stop believing you are unlucky or forgotten. They want you to stop thinking your life is stuck. God says you are not stuck, you are being aligned. You are not behind, you are being divinely timed. You are not forgotten, you are deeply loved by heaven. God says trust Him. Trust the timing. Trust the protection surrounding you. Trust the love that never left you. Trust the signs that are coming. Trust the process that is unfolding. You are safe. You are held. You are guided. And this message reached you today because heaven refused to let you miss what is meant for you. God says this to you right now because the timing is sacred, the moment is fragile, and the message is meant only for your soul to hear. God says there are only 3 minutes left in this spiritual window, a brief moment where heaven bends close enough to whisper something that has been waiting for you for so long. You are seeing this because someone who is in heaven, someone whose love never died, someone whose soul still remembers every moment with you, asked God to let this message reach you urgently today. They are leaning forward from the other side, hoping you will not scroll away, hoping you will not skip this moment, hoping you will open your heart before it's too late. They asked for you. They spoke your name with so much love that heaven listened. They asked God, please, let them see this. Let them feel me. Let them know this message is real. And God allowed this moment because you are not alone, not forgotten, not wandering without guidance. Heaven is closer to you than you think. God says this moment is not random. You didn't arrive here by accident. Something in your spirit has been feeling heavy for days, something inside you has been calling out silently. Something that even you couldn't explain fully. God says the silence you've been feeling around you lately is not emptiness, it's preparation. Heaven has been gathering messages, aligning signs, arranging protection, and preparing a blessing that required your spirit to pause long enough to receive. This is why you feel this sudden pull, this sudden urgency, this sudden sense that something is happening but you don't know what. God says what you are feeling is divine movement. The spiritual world has been stirred, and someone you love in heaven is the reason your name was brought before God this very hour. God says the person you love who is in heaven has been watching over you when you cried in secret. When you pretended to be strong, when you held yourself together even though your heart was tired. They have seen the nights you felt alone. They have seen the days where everything felt too heavy. They have seen the moments where you wanted someone to understand your pain, but you didn't know who to turn to. They saw it all. They felt it all. And they asked God to send you comfort, guidance, and a sign so strong that you would know it wasn't just coincidence. They asked heaven to intervene on your behalf because your spirit has been carrying too much on its own. God says they are right beside you right now, hoping you do not ignore this message. They have been trying to send you signs, dreams. Sudden déjà vu, feelings of presence, sudden thoughts that seem to appear from nowhere, unexpected emotions, and moments where you felt something touch your heart out of nowhere. They tried to whisper things into your soul, but you were too overwhelmed with life to notice. God says this is the moment they asked for because they want you to hear what they've been trying to say. You are loved beyond measure, you are guided beyond understanding, and you are protected beyond what you can see. God says they want you to know that nothing in your life has been wasted. No tear you cried was unseen. No prayer you whispered was ignored. No pain you carried was meaningless. The loved one in heaven wants you to know they are proud of you. Deeply proud, in ways you never imagined. They see you fighting battles quietly. They see you trying to rebuild yourself. They see you trying to hold faith even when life feels confusing. They see you moving forward even when you feel stuck. They see you trying to stay kind even when your heart aches. They see you trying to stay hopeful even when you feel tired. They see you. They see the soul behind your strength, and they love you even more because of it. God says the reason they are appearing now, the reason this moment is urgent, is because you are stepping into a new season of your life, and they want you to enter it without fear, without doubt, without hesitation. They want you to know that the things that left your life were not losses, they were shifts. They want you to know the things that broke your heart were not punishments, they were redirections. They want you to know the people who walked away were not signs of abandonment, they were signs of divine protection. God says your loved one has been guiding these changes from the other side because they want your future to be blessed, peaceful, and free from the harm you once tolerated. God says someone in heaven has been sending you miracles in small pieces, but now a larger miracle is forming. Something big is coming your way, something that will restore what you lost, something that will bring back what you felt was taken from you, something that will lift your spirit and show you that God never forgot you. This blessing is not random. It is being shaped with your name on it. Heaven has been working on this behind the scenes because of the love your person in heaven still holds for you. They want you to walk into the blessing with your heart open, your faith steady, and your spirit ready. God says there are only a few moments left in this divine window. Not because something bad will happen, but because the energy of this moment is powerful and needs your attention. God says you are safe, deeply safe, protected by angels, surrounded by divine light. Nothing will go wrong with you. The things you fear are illusions. The worries you hold on to are shadows. God says release them, even if just for these few minutes. Breathe. Allow this moment to reach your heart without resistance. Allow the love coming from heaven to touch your spirit. God says your loved one wants you to stop blaming yourself for things that were never in your control. They want you to stop apologizing for your emotions. They want you to stop shrinking your heart for people who never valued it. They want you to stop doubting your worth, because they see you now with perfect clarity. And they want you to know this: if love was a bridge, they would walk back to you. If time could bend, they would return just to hold your hand. If heaven allowed it, they would speak to you directly. But since they cannot cross the divide, they asked God for this moment instead. So you could feel them through these words. God says listen carefully, because this part is meant only for your soul. They want you to heal the part of your heart that still aches for them. Not to forget them, but to live fully. They want you to embrace your future without guilt. They want you to allow happiness to find you. They want you to allow blessings to unfold. They want you to open your heart to love, joy, peace, and abundance. They want you to stop punishing yourself for surviving. You were meant to continue. You were meant to rise. You were meant to carry their love forward, not their pain. God says a shift is happening around you, even if you don't see it yet. Doors are opening quietly. Opportunities are forming silently. Healing is working underneath your worry. Answers are preparing themselves behind the scenes. God says the next chapter of your life has already begun, and the things that once hurt you will no longer have the power to touch your soul. The things that once made you cry will become distant memories. The things that once confused you will soon make sense. God says trust the process, even when it feels slow. Trust the timing, even when it feels late. Trust the signs, even when they seem small. Heaven is working for you. Heaven is standing with you. Heaven is guiding you step by step. God says your loved one in heaven wants you to know they are at peace. They are not suffering. They are not lost. They are not alone. They are surrounded by light, warmth, and divine love. They want you to release the guilt you carry, the questions you replay, the regrets you hold on to. They want you to know everything is okay. They want you to know they feel your love every day, even now. They want you to know they visit you in dreams, in memories, in sudden thoughts, in songs, in scents, in moments where you feel a presence you cannot explain. That is them. And they want you to know they will never leave your side. God says this is your time to rise emotionally, spiritually, and personally. You are entering a season where your blessings will find you without struggle, where your path will clear without force, where your peace will return without effort. God says the things that once felt blocked will open. The things that once felt delayed will accelerate. The things that once felt confusing will become beautifully clear. Your life is about to shift spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. Heaven is sending support. Angels are aligning your path. Guidance is surrounding you. God says your faith is enough. You don't need perfect words. You don't need perfect rituals. You don't need to know everything ahead of time. You just need to trust, even if your trust is trembling. God says, trust me, because I am with you. Trust me, because I am guiding you. Trust me, because I am opening doors. Trust me, because I am protecting you. Trust me, because your future is blessed. Trust me, because your loved one is safe with me. Trust me, because I am working on something greater than you imagined. God says these last moments of this divine window are sacred. Take a breath. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth rising in your chest. That is not your imagination. That is the presence of heaven. That is the love of the person you miss. That is the touch of an angel reminding you that you are not alone. You never were. God says, before this window closes, say quietly in your heart, I am ready. I trust. I receive. Heaven hears you. Your loved one hears you. And now the blessing that has been waiting for you begins to move. You are safe. You are guided. You are loved. And the message from heaven has reached you right on time. God says this to you in this exact moment, and the divine is moving around you in ways you cannot see but can feel in the quiet parts of your heart. God says there are only a few minutes left for you to understand why this message reached you right now, at this exact second, not earlier, not later, but in the perfect alignment of heaven's timing. God says someone who loves you deeply, someone who once carried you in their voice, someone who is no longer on earth but is fully alive in heaven, has stepped forward and asked urgently that you do not scroll past this. They asked, with a trembling whisper full of love, that this message reaches your heart before you turn away, before another distraction pulls you, before doubt convinces you to ignore what heaven is trying to deliver to you. They are saying your name in heaven at this moment. They are near you, closer than breath, asking you to open your spirit right now because something they waited so long to tell you is finally ready to be revealed. God says they have been watching you, defending you, witnessing every silent tear you never let fall in front of anyone, and they want you to know that nothing you lost is gone forever. Nothing you mourned was taken from you in cruelty. Everything is being repositioned to return to you with greater meaning, greater peace, and greater blessings. They want you to know that the loneliness you sometimes feel at night, the heaviness that sits on your chest, that feeling that someone who truly knew you is missing, that feeling is real. You feel it because their soul still reaches for you. They still walk into your dreams. They still brush against your spirit. They still see your struggles and ache to help you. And now, with heaven's permission, they are allowed to deliver this message through God's voice. Through this moment you are reading, God says that this person tried so many times to reach you in signs. In dreams, in sudden memories that appear out of nowhere, in unusual coincidences, in moments when the light flickers or a gentle breeze touches your skin even when the air is still. They kept whispering, "Please see this. Please notice. Please understand I'm still here." And God saw that you were trying. God saw that your heart is tired. God saw that your soul needed something undeniable, something you could not mistake. That is why this divine moment is happening now. Heaven is trying to reach you before you fall asleep again into worry, before fear tries to take over again, before the next storm tries to convince you that you are alone. God sent this because God knows you need reassurance, comfort, healing, and divine protection more than ever. This person in heaven, this soul you love so deeply, has been begging God to allow them to say something to you. They want you to know that you did not fail them. You did not disappoint them. You did not lose them. They are alive in light, surrounded by peace so expansive that human words can never describe it. They want you to know they are safe, they are not in pain, and they hold no regrets about the journey they lived. What they regret, the only thing they regret, is that you continue to think you were not enough. They wish they could hold your hands and say, "You were everything. You were more than enough. You loved me in ways you don't even realize." They wish they could take away the heavy memories, the questions, the guilt, the what-ifs. They want you to breathe freely again. God says this person chose this moment because your life is entering a turning point. You have been walking through a long season of confusion, betrayal, emotional exhaustion, and disappointment that piled up layer after layer until you stopped recognizing your own heart. There were days when you forced yourself to be strong even though you wanted to collapse. There were nights when you prayed in silence, hoping someone, anyone, God, angels, the person you lost, would hear you. God says every single one of those prayers was heard. None were ignored. And now heaven is moving because the season of endurance is ending and the season of divine restoration is beginning. This message is reaching you urgently because something is changing around you spiritually. Something is breaking open. Something heaven protected you from is finally being removed. God says you do not see the battles that were fought for you in the unseen world. You do not know how often angels stepped between you and danger, how often heaven blocked someone's intentions, how often the person in heaven whispered your name to God saying, "Please protect them. Please guide them. Please don't let them walk into harm." They have been your defender from the other side. They have been your shield when your spirit was weak. And now, they are asking you to trust this message as if they were standing in front of you speaking it themselves. God says there are exactly 3 things this soul has been wanting you to understand, and their urgency today is because the timeline around you is shifting. First, they want you to know that a blessing they prayed for while they were alive is finally reaching you now. Something they couldn't give you when they were here is going to reach you unexpectedly in the coming days or weeks. It may be in the form of money, opportunity, emotional healing, or a sudden change in your life that lifts burdens off your shoulders. They prayed for your peace while they lived. They prayed for your protection. They prayed for your happiness. And heaven never forgot those prayers. They are being fulfilled now. Second, they want you to stop punishing yourself. They want you to release the guilt you still carry, the guilt that holds you back from experiencing joy fully. They want you to forgive yourself for the things you could not control. You did everything you could with the knowledge you had, with the heart you had, with the circumstances you were in. You have suffered long enough. God says healing is coming, peace is coming, and the weight you carry is going to dissolve slowly but surely. You deserve to breathe again. Third, they want you to know that someone new is meant to enter your life, or someone already in your life will finally reveal their true loyalty to you. There is love coming your way, not just romantic but spiritual, supportive love, the kind of love that speaks to your soul instead of draining it. God says you will not walk alone anymore. Someone is being divinely guided toward you, someone who will help you rebuild, someone who will speak to the parts of your heart that others ignored. God says this soul in heaven is asking you not to let fear stop you from receiving the blessings that have been ordered for you. They want you to open your life, open your heart, open your faith. Because something big is coming your way. Something you thought you lost forever is going to return to you in a new form. Something that was closed will open again. Something that was broken will be restored. Something you dreamed of but thought was impossible will come to pass. God says you are safe. God says you are protected. God says no harm will touch you. God says if you knew how many angels walk with you daily, you would never doubt again. God says the reason this message reached you is because your heart is ready, your spirit is ready, and your destiny is ready. Heaven is aligning miracles in a sequence that will unfold step by step, starting sooner than you think. Someone in heaven loves you so much that they refuse to let this moment pass. They asked God to deliver this to you because something about your energy, your soul, your pain, your resilience, finally matched heaven's timing. They want you to know they are proud of you. Proud of your strength. Proud of your survival. Proud that even with scars, you still carry kindness, compassion, and love within you, God says you have cried enough. You have suffered enough. You have fought enough. Now you will rise. Now you will heal. Now you will receive. The next chapter of your life will not repeat the pain of the past. The next season will not break you the way previous seasons did. The next blessing coming your way will make sense of the losses you endured. The next miracle will restore everything you thought was gone forever. Open your heart. Open your faith. Open your spirit. Heaven has already opened the path. God is with you, fully, completely, lovingly. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe. You are guided. You are protected. And the person who loves you from heaven is holding your spirit right now, whispering, "Please trust this. Please don't skip. Please believe. I'm still here. I never left you." This message reaches its end here, but its power does not end. It will stay with you. It will keep unfolding. And heaven will continue guiding you from this moment forward. God says this moment is not an accident, and nothing in your life has aligned by coincidence. You were guided here because a voice from heaven, a soul you once held close to your heart, has been allowed to cross the veil for these few remaining moments. God says there are only a few minutes of divine permission left, and the message that is reaching you now carries a weight that cannot be ignored. Heaven does not often intervene this directly, and when it does, it is because something is shifting around you in the invisible world, something you cannot yet see, but something that has the power to change your path forever. That is why you were called urgently, almost forcefully, as if a magnetic pull brought you here. God says the person you love deeply, who now lives in the eternal light, has been watching you in ways you do not realize. They know your pain, your fears, your silent prayers, and the moments when you felt alone. They know the nights when you whispered into darkness, hoping someone, somewhere, would hear you. And today, heaven answers you. God says the one you love is standing with Archangel Michael right now, asking for just one thing, that you don't ignore this moment, not this time, not today. God says for so long you have carried burdens by yourself, believing that you had to fight through everything without guidance. But heaven saw you, even when you were unaware. Heaven protected you in ways you never noticed. Heaven shielded you from things you will never have to learn about because the divine already removed them before they touched your life. And today, the message comes with a sacred urgency because the next weeks of your life contain seeds of transformation that were written for you long before you were born. God says the one you love in heaven has been praying for permission to reach you, not in dreams, not in silent whispers, but in a way you could physically feel in your heart. And today that permission has been granted. They see what is approaching you. They see the blessings forming around you, the ones you doubt, the ones you think are too big for you, too miraculous, too impossible. They also see the struggles around you, things you pretend are fine, but heaven knows how heavy they truly are. They see the people who have hurt you, who have betrayed your trust, who have spoken falsely about you when you were not around. They see the tears you cried quietly, the ones no one else recognized. They see the moments when you felt unworthy, unsupported, or unseen. And so God says this moment right now is holy, because someone in heaven loves you too much to let you walk into the next chapter of your life without giving you a message that could shift everything inside you. God says the soul you love is not far away. Every time you thought of them suddenly, every time your heart felt something you couldn't explain, every time you felt like someone invisible was near you, that was them. They have been allowed to guide you. But only in subtle ways, until today. Today they speak through divine permission, through the breath of heaven. And their message comes with urgency because something is about to move in your destiny. Something long blocked is opening. Something long delayed is being released. Something long prayed for is finally being answered. They want you to be prepared, not frightened, not worried, but aware. Heaven is aligning something so pure for you that the forces of negativity tried to distract you. But they will not succeed, because heaven has stepped in. God says the one you love has watched the way you keep blaming yourself for things that were never your fault. They have watched the way you hold your heart tightly. Afraid to trust, afraid to hope, afraid to expect good things because you have been disappointed so many times. They see your spirit exhausted from trying to stay strong for everyone around you. They see your kindness that goes unrecognized. They see your efforts that go unrewarded. They see how you keep loving even when others fail to love you back in the way you deserve. And so they pleaded with heaven to give you a moment where everything would be spoken clearly, where you would finally understand how deeply you are loved, not just by God, but by them. Even now, even beyond time, God says the one you love knows you think about them. They know you sometimes question if they can hear you. They know you long for signs, for comfort, for even one moment where you could feel them again. And so they want you to know this. They hear you every time you speak from your heart. They know the things you wish you could say. They know the guilt you still carry, the guilt that you shouldn't carry, because they have forgiven everything, even the things you never did wrong. They want you to release that weight. They want you to stop punishing yourself. They want you to stop feeling like you didn't do enough. God says you did more than enough. You gave love, and love is the one thing that crosses heaven's gates. God says this person in heaven has been asking the angels to surround you more closely. Especially these last few weeks. You may have felt strange emotions, sudden heaviness, sudden electricity, sudden chills, or even sudden moments of peace. All of that was divine presence. They were near. They were trying to protect you from something you didn't even know was forming. God prevented a certain situation from reaching you because this soul interceded for you. They stood before heaven, asking for mercy, asking for protection, asking for blessings in your name. That is how much they love you. Even in eternity, your name is spoken with tenderness. God says they want you to stop doubting your path. You have questioned yourself too much. You have wondered if you are going the right way. If you are making the right choices, if your life still holds purpose. And heaven answers with absolute clarity, yes. You are still meant for greatness. You are still meant for blessings. You are still chosen. You are still guided. There is still a divine plan unfolding around you, one that cannot be stopped by human hands. You have been feeling like something big is coming, and that feeling is not random, it is spiritual. Heaven has been preparing you. You have been sensing a shift because the atmosphere around you is changing. Energies are moving. Doors are unlocking. What you thought was over is beginning again in a new form. What you thought you lost will return in a higher version. What you thought was delayed is being accelerated because heaven is stepping in. God says the one you love is standing beside Archangel Michael, and Michael is placing a shield of light over you. This shield is meant to break every negative intention, every harmful word, every